that time of the year when colleges are reopening and a large number of students across the country are looking for safe, affordable, hygienic student accommodation. Today on the Property Show, we look at the changing landscape of student housing in India and what's available at what price in which city. Bottom line is, the days of blind paying guest and hostel hunting are long gone. Now there are PropTech companies, aggregators and startups vying for this rental business. Here's a quick snapshot of student housing dynamics in India, culled out by JLL for NDTV. Now, according to the latest All India Survey on Higher Education, estimates for the year 2020-21 say that around 40 million students are enrolled in higher education or colleges across India. Around 30% are migrating students, which translates into student housing demand of about 12 million beds. Now, close to 6.7 million beds are currently available through on and off campus hostel facilities. So, there is now a demand-supply gap of about 5.3 million beds. Look at the cities where students are. Delhi NCR, Greater Mumbai, which includes Thane and Navi Mumbai. Then you have Chennai, Bangalore, Kolkata, Pune, Hyderabad, Ahmedabad. These are the top tier cities, and in second tier cities or tier 2 cities as they're called, Bhopal and Lucknow make up the most number of student enrollments and of course the demand for student housing. Now the new age startups have firmly entrenched themselves in this business and offer quality hygienic student accommodation across the key cities that we just spoke about. Of course, key operators, let me name a few of them: Stanza Living, Good Host Spaces, Hello World, Houser, Zolo Stays, Your Space and Istara. All of them have very well laid out websites for you to browse through the stay options. Now, 4 of them, that is Stanza, Istara, Hello World and Good Host Spaces, account for over 50% of existing inventory for just pure student housing inventory, not co-living for professionals. Of course, there are a host of individual paying guest and student rental accommodation listings on property websites like housing.com, Magic Bricks, 99 Acres, which allow you to narrow down your stay options even before you arrive in the city of your dream college. JLL says that most student accommodation options are priced between 6,000 to 18,000 rupees per month, depending on whether you want individual rooms or room sharing, what are the amenities and where is it located. And if you really want something upmarket, the price tag can even go as high as 25,000 rupees a month. So let's kick into the discussion to get more details about student accommodation, especially in the new age environment. Akhil Sikri, co-founder Zolo Stays, Venayak Saran Gupta, Chief Revenue Officer of Your Space, two of the companies which are disrupting the place or space, as we say, and Rohan Sharma, Senior Director Research, JLL India, who's put together this research for us, join us on this show. So Venayak, I'm going to come to you first, and of course I would like this answer from both the startups. What do you really offer, which let's say a paying guest or a student hostel does not offer?
Yeah, so I think a couple of things. The way you asked the question, let me just differentiate it into kind of your mom and pop paying guests, which are off campus like us, and kind of the student hostels, which are on campus or college hostels. So I think college hostels, the 2 or 3 big differentiators for us is just building quality. So our buildings are newer, we have attached bathrooms, we have much more spacious rooms. Typically, the large chunk of our occupancy is in a twin sharing format, whereas if you look at college hostels, you typically have a dorm format, you have unattached bathrooms, and you have anywhere between 3 to 4 kids sharing a room. So I think that's one big difference. And then obviously service quality. I think as colleges have also started to realize their core specialty is in kind of managing academics, and hostels or student accommodation is an ancillary for them. So whereas for us, it's the whole and soul of our business. So we pay a lot of attention to the services, especially kind of food, managing the facility. So I think that's how we really stand out versus on-campus hostels. Whereas your mom and pop PGs, again, they'll typically be living on the ground floor and they'll lease out this first floor or the second floor. So if the uncle decides to go to sleep at 10 o'clock, then you're standing outside the door because the door is locked and you're ringing the bell continuously, right? So,
Well, all that I can say, Vinayak, is in my generation, of course, all of you are much younger, but in my generation, we've gone through that pain quite a bit. All right, Akhil, let me bring you in here. So, how do you aggregate is my question. Are you taking full flats, buildings? Vinayak has outlined some of the methods and differentiated between these mom and pop shops where basically the owner continues to live and just gives a portion of their house. How are you aggregating, which makes it better and allows you to give probably more common spaces and areas and services?
Got it. So we take up the whole building, and we kind of work with the building owner to design the properties. We have so the customer is the centerpiece of the whole experience, right? So everything starting from your service desk, reception to areas of washing, right? Even going into the details of having some common areas, hangout areas. So all this is designed and conceptualized by our team. And if I talk about our student living segment, right? So there we operate with both university-owned hostels and university separate hostels as well, right? Individual buildings. So a lot of it goes into the design thinking, that how do you kind of design the property that the customers really kind of enjoy and kind of have fun, right? So build a community around it. So I would say primarily it goes into the quality of the asset. It goes into coming up with various hangout areas. It goes into thinking about those small details, right? Getting into the entrance area, garbage area. All those things are well thought through.
And essentially, do you also provide all the housekeeping services so the students don't have to get their own, house help for cleaning, etc.? So all of those are included, right?
Correct. It's fully managed spaces.
Fully managed services. So like a hotel, but of course much more reasonable. And coming on to reasonable, it's also a very price sensitive market, Rohan. I mean, you've sent us very good data and statistics, but 6,000 to 18,000 or 25,000 is a huge range. And India is such a super price sensitive market, and most of the students coming to these large cities are essentially actually from middle income families, right? And they're migrating for better quality education. So I'm just wondering, how do these companies like Zolo, Your Stay, do they fall into this price bracket? How does it work?
I think if you look at the price offerings from all of these operators, it will most of them will cater to across all the price segment. Now you can literally make it like how residential is priced, affordable to mid to premium. And but there's also a point to remember that there are certain operators who want to operate only in the premium segment. They want to only operate in certain locations where the student population is a little more premium in nature. Maybe students going to colleges like management colleges or a little more pursuing higher education. But largely, if you will see, the price bracket is that entire offering is between that whole affordable to mid, and they will offer it basis the kind of I would say their own local research that they would have done as well, right? In fact, if I'm going to an engineering cluster or an arts cluster versus I'm going to a management cluster, and also they will compare, they will be relevant, even though they are trying to target the entire student population, they still have to compete with the unorganized market. And like you rightly said, the students are extremely price sensitive. So if you're too overpriced in a market, your unorganized segment tends to take out the demand. So you have to be careful on those as well. But I think the whole service offering in terms of the whole, a whole managed concept that they offer, also no hassles of brokerage and restrictions and things like that. I think all of those are like huge USPs for them.
just the fact that you can shortlist, all your options online right now, look at the pictures, see what's available, what's not available, and then land in a city vis-a-vis just coming here, landing, and then, taking your admission and starting to look for a accommodation. I think that shift has been very, very big. Vinayak, but, you're the Chief Revenue Officer. Let me ask you, is Rohan right in terms of pricing, and how do you do your mix that you have your margins and offer accommodation to a very price sensitive market like India and a segment like students?
Yeah, so I think Rohan's right. I think what drives the big variation that you're seeing is that 6 to 18,000, you won't see it in the same city. It's actually city specific, which is more than metro tier 1, tier 2.
So tell me, which cities are you in and how are you priced? Can you just give our audience that ballpark figure?
Correct. So for us, a big focus has been the metro cities. So I would kind of tend to believe we're the largest in Delhi and Bombay. And with third, I would say in Bangalore. So for us, metros has been a big play, where our price bracket is more kind of 16 to 18,000 all the way up to 35 to 40,000 in Bombay. Right. So again, it's kind of city and micro market specific. The way we look at pricing is we look at the most premium unorganized player in that market, and we would typically be 20 to 25% above them.
Okay.
So that's kind of how we look at it. And I think one of the big things that has happened with organized players coming into the market is there's also bigger understanding of what is your landed cost while you're living in an unorganized player. So yes, I might be 20% more expensive, but you'll actually eat my food every day, right? Whereas if you stay in the mom and pop PG, you will not eat the food every day. So you're kind of spending anywhere between 400 to 600 on food a day. So your landed cost is actually very. So that's kind of how we
all the services put together, you feel that it's a better value proposition. Though I would really like to see a youngster who eats even home cooked food every day. Forget about what you will make. Coming from a mother of a college going child. But anyway, quickly, Akhil, add in here, where is your presence stronger? I mean, 16 to 35,000 is on the expensive side, right? Really an upper middle income family, not really the middle and lower middle income families is the addressable market for Venayak and your stay. What's your addressable market and where are you priced and where are you there?
So let me talk about our key cities. We are present in Bangalore. We are present in more than 10 cities when it comes to co-living, and we are present in more than 15 cities now when it comes to student living as we partner with colleges. So we are present in Bangalore, we are present in Vellore, right? We are very fastly expanding in our student accommodation, and because there's a lot of interest coming from colleges as well. The focus on campus life, the focus on quality has increased massively after pandemic, right? People are actually looking to, parents are also questioning, how do you kind of get a better campus experience for my kid, right? Because now with your virtual degrees coming in and student college degrees options coming in, the major differentiation is the campus life. So now let me talk about the pricing. I kind of agree with like overall with the folks over here that the pricing base is certainly based on the location. In tier 1 city, it can go up to 25,000 per month. And it depends whether you're taking a individual room or whether you're taking a shared room. Whereas in tier 2 cities and based on the location of the property, it can go as low as 8,000 rupees as well based on the sharing type.
In tier 1 cities, 45 is your outer limit or where do you start? Is it still 15,000, 16,000?
It would be somewhere around 25.
25.
And correct.
So Rohan, I'm wondering where is that figure of 6,000 coming from? Then that means that you've included in your data the mom and pop or individual PNG. I shouldn't say all of them are mom and pop because I think some of us have also had great experiences with some of the family owned homes which have opened those up for for students, right? But look at this business model and also look at the fact that developers are getting into this business as well. You have an embassy saying that they would want to get into the business. Is there any competitive advantage, Rohan, that Your Stay or a Zolo has over developers, or do you think developers who have so much money and building power and can probably create hostels and tall buildings, etc., for student housing have a better edge here?
So Manisha, to answer the first question, I think Akhil answered it somewhere where he said that, depending on the kind of sharing you are, the room cost, the bed cost will go down. So, price sensitive markets like engineering colleges clusters across Pune and some places, you can go down to that level because then you're looking at triple sharing, though that concept's gone down, but it's a more price sensitive market. To the other question on developers and operators, now I think the classic case of how we term as propco opcos. And developers are great at developing properties. They understand the way they develop it, but they will still need a very specialized, team in terms of providing the service and amenities. So the operating model also has to be, I would say, perfected, which a lot of operators have done. Now, the good thing about developers coming is they will have their own land banks. So it's easier for them to quickly turn around properties, develop them. They will still need expertise in terms of creating specialized teams, like I said, for the operating part of it. And I think in some cases, while they will put up their own teams, in a lot of these cases, I think it opens up opportunities for them to tie up with operators which are already there in this segment, right? I think on the operator side, like I said, I think property sourcing is a big thing for them because now the focus is largely around doing a lot of standalone buildings. They do not want to do aggregate models and discrete apartments here and there. So property sourcing is an issue, and then they have to deal with the landlord. So, but the specialization that they bring in terms of service and amenities is something that that they bring, right? The whole model of the whole tech platform is something that they have done, right?
So I sense that, there will be some partnerships between aggregators and operators and developers, like they are also going to education institutions and tying up with them to manage their entire hostels. All right, Venayak, Akhil and Rohan, thank you very much for joining me for this very timely discussion. Let's see, what students are looking at, but it's important for them to get this information that there are options available beyond the regular PG accommodations, which are of better quality and, of course, provide better amenities. Thank you again for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you.
On the other side, we focus on a young startup that's using agri-waste to create packaging material, a lot of which can be used by different segments of the real estate sector.